Okay, so what are the Colts doing, man? I'm sure we all woke up to this news that Jim Irsay, I'm not even going to say the Colts, because this guy Jim Irsay's fingerprints all over it. All over it. Jim Irsay hired Jeff Saturday to be the interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts after firing Frank Reich. Now, firing Frank Reich, that's a decision. I understand how you came to that decision. I also understand that Frank Reich really did a lot with some terrible hands that he had been dealt. He was dealt the Carson Wentz hand that everybody knew was a lemon. And honestly, he got more out of Carson Wentz than anybody expected, because when Carson Wentz got traded to the Colts, it was one of those situations where Carson was like one of the worst advanced statistics quarterbacks almost of all time the year before in Philadelphia. Gets traded there, but he takes the heat because he's the dude that pounded the table for Carson Wentz, which is never a good idea. You don't want to, like, there has been a history of dudes pounding the table for Carson Wentz and dudes losing their job, right? Frank Reich, Dan Snyder, both lost their jobs. Both pounded the table for Carson Wentz. It's not a good ideal. If somebody is telling you to go hard for Carson Wentz, just don't do it. Just don't do it, man. But all jokes aside, they fired Frank Reich, which is a choice, right? A choice that I don't think a lot of people agree with. But nobody's really talking about whether Frank Reich should have been fired, if this was justified or not, because they hired Jeff Saturday. Yes, the dude from ESPN. If you're a little bit older, you know him as Peyton Manning's center, longtime center in Indianapolis. I think he even did a year. Did he do a year in Denver with them? I felt like he followed Peyton one of them years. But nonetheless, he's known for being Peyton Manning's center in Indy. And if you're asking yourself, was he on the coaching staff? Well, was Jeff Saturday on the staff or something? Is that why they promoted him? No. Jeff Saturday has never been on an NFL coaching staff. Jeff Saturday has never had a college coaching job. Jeff Saturday has never been a position coach. He's never been a coordinator at any level of high-stakes football. What he has been is a coach for 3 years at an Atlanta high school, well, prep school, in which I can't find the records for. I don't think it matters. The dude was coaching high school. Now he's a NFL head coach for what, 8 games? 9 games? Like half the season. This isn't like we're going to ride it out with 2 games left. Like, this is half of the season. You hired Jeff Saturday because you actually think this is going to work. And look, I'm not here to say Jeff Saturday does not have what it takes to be a head coach. I am going to say he does not have the experience necessary, but sometimes you can get away with not having the experience if you are talented enough at that position. I'm here to say that this is a crazy hire even if it works out. I don't think it's going to work out. But even if this does work out, this is an insane thing to do. An insane thing to do. Because if you really wanted Jeff Saturday to like be the future head coach, this would have been a perfect opportunity to slide him in as an offensive line coach, see how he does with that. And then maybe the next year you keep moving him up, right? You can put the jetpack on him, but still make him go through the progressions so that you can hire him. There's a way to go about this. Just straight up hiring him, I don't think this puts Jeff Saturday in the best position possible. I mean, like, how in the world can he be prepared? You know that the Colts don't have an offensive coordinator. Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator for the team, right? Who is calling the plays? If this were a situation where there was a well-known offensive coordinator and a well-known defensive coordinator and you just put anybody in charge, okay, that's fine, whatever, right? Because at the end of the day, the football stuff is being handled by people who are qualified to do it. But like, this isn't Jeff Saturday's going to come in and regulate the boat. This is Jeff Saturday's going to come in and fix the offense hire. What? What? And look, Jeff Saturday has a ton of football knowledge. I'm pretty sure that he can make some adjustments based on what he was as a player. I'm not saying Jeff Saturday is not smart enough to know these things or knowledgeable enough to know these things. That is not what I'm getting at when I'm critical at this move. I'm just saying there are ways in which you have to operate as a coach that are massively different than how you have to operate as a player. And boy, oh boy, is he underprepared for that, right? Like when your last job was teaching 16-year-olds how to run routes, like that's not going to translate to teaching grown-ass men who make millions of dollars playing this game to do anything. All you're going to do is rub people the wrong way. And again, maybe he has potential as a coach. But if you thought that, if you really did, you would have gave him a soft start by just saying, hey, we're going to start you here. We're going to put the jetpack on you. And each year we're going to move you up until we can hire you as head coach. But you have to be patient to do that. You have to have some level of planning to do that. Nah, let's just hire him as head coach and see what happens. And I know Jim Irsay thinks he's doing Jeff Saturday a big favor. And maybe Jim Irsay loves listening to Jeff Saturday on ESPN and just thought, man, that guy ought to be the coach. We have forgotten like that qualifications mean anything anymore. Like I'm convinced because what we're seeing, man, people just hiring off vibes nowadays because this is ridiculous, dog. Like qualifications mean nothing. Prior experience means nothing. They're literally just hiring dudes off vibes. Like, so, you know, it is hilarious, man. This is a hilarious hire. And I know there's going to be some people who might be Colts fans who have the dire urge to defend this and put the cape on for the organization because all you see is people telling you that the team that you love and the owner that owns that team that you love is an idiot. And I understand because I'm a Browns fan. And look, there have been plenty of times in which I have been told that my organization is stupid, that the people who own the organization are incompetent decision makers who are not worthy of owning an NFL team. And I get it. When you love your team and you heavily associate with your team, you're going to take that kind of personal and you're going to feel the need to defend some dumb things. But don't do it. Don't do it. You always end up being the idiot that defended the idiot's move. And this is an idiotic move, man. Like, there's no justifying it. Like, you can try to make it make sense if you, like, try really hard. But he has high school coaching experience. That's it. That's it. He got more experience to take Stephen A. Smith's job than he does to take Frank Reich's. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. It is one of the most insane hires of all time. If it works, God bless him. But come on, man. Ain't nobody put in no situation to succeed with this. This is a disaster. Who's calling the plays on? Is Jeff Saturday going to call the plays on offense? Like, is he going to learn the terminology? That's also the other thing. Look, it's one thing to do this and hire somebody with no experience. It's a whole nother thing to hire somebody with no experience who also is not familiar with the inner workings of the offense. And what I mean by that is, yeah, Jeff Saturday knows the basic concepts and the basic, especially like the protection schemes that they're going to try to run there in Indy. He knows that from just watching. What I'm saying is there is a lingo, a terminology each offense has that is specific to its own. And Jeff never played for Frank Reich. Correct me if I'm wrong. He don't know that offense. So he has to learn that offense. He has to learn that protocol, if that's even the offense anymore. And if the answer is no, Jeff's not going to have to learn a new offense because Jeff's going to bring his offense to the Colts. That's ridiculous because I don't know what Jeff Saturday's offense is. I really don't know what Jeff Saturday's offense is. Maybe he has been preparing things for years behind the scenes and he has an NFL level offense ready to go right now. Sure, that is always a possibility. But what I feel like is more likely is Jeff about to bring them plays he was running in high school, them high school plays, and he about to bring it up to the NFL. I cannot believe the lunacy of what's happening right now. Because if this is a tanking move, this is ultimately disrespectful to do to Jeff Saturday. If this is not a tanking move, then you're really putting somebody you like in a terrible position, and I don't understand that either. I just can't justify it. I just can't justify it. It is one of the most head-scratching, most questionable interim head coach hires of all time. It deserves every bit of criticism that it gets. And if I'm a Colts fan, dog, I understand you want to take this personal. You still think the season might be alive. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you're going to feel the need to defend this. Sit it out. Just sit it out and wait, because you don't have to have an opinion on this if you're a Colts fan. You really don't. You could just sit this one out, watch the games, and just see how that goes before you go out there, put the cape on. Because this is a cape off alert. All right. If my team did something this ridiculous, cape off. I'm not about the cape for that. That's crazy. That is crazy. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank y'all for watching.